So then folks, here we go then. Sardegna C Group 4 manufacturers. Qualified an amazing P13 as usual, slipstream. If you haven't got it, you've got no chance. So let's see where we end up. It's great when the race starts on the last corner, you have no traction, you end up in no man's land, can't even get on the back of somebody else. Anyway, see how this goes. Bit of a mix of strategies on this race. Some people's hard tyre is required, it'll easily do the whole race, but some people start on the softs and risk it to get out ahead as far as they can and then do a pit stop. It's about 20 seconds loss, I think, on the pits, so you have to be confident you can get away from everybody and then do a pit stop to run the hards towards the end of the race. But most people tend to go for a non-stop, run the hards all the way through. Don't really need to be looked after in the race, you can pretty much push all the way through. As fuel is the same as well, there's no fuel saving to be done. And our first inherited position of 2 cars spinning there, and the one just behind us spun as well. So a couple of easy positions there. All you have to do is make sure you can keep them behind you if they're faster than you, but we've done all right so far. See this guy in the Porsche is running the softs, so you know he's got to make a pit stop again, although obviously he's carving his way through the field at the moment. We picked up another position there, that one has just spun. In a little while I think he gets past this guy and then he starts to chase us down, but at the time I didn't know he was on the softs. I had an inkling because he was catching quite quickly up to me when he did get past this guy. So I figured that he must be on a different tyre. So let's just go up through the field and see what tyres I run. Obviously I'm on the hards. Open the Lexus on the hards. Toyota's on the hards. Oh, another position there as well, obviously. So Mr. Strange is on the softs. Hard, 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 hard. So everyone else is pretty much running the same. So we are basically in a net 8th place at the moment then. After doing the first couple of races, I realised that the best way to do this race is just stay out of trouble really, because everyone's all a bit desperate down around here. Not prepared to follow anyone. So this guy Doug, he was in front of me for quite a while, and I thought, well, I can stick with him. I knew I had a fair big gap to the guy behind, so I just followed him. So that worked out okay for a while. Didn't try and push past him. Try and give him a bit of confidence so he didn't have to concentrate on me behind, so we could get some good lap times together and keep out of trouble. By the way, this is the first time I've done some commentary on this, so I didn't realise I could do it using the mic on the handset, so I thought, well, I'd try a little review talking about the race as well to help people understand what's going on. So we're sitting here in 9th, quite happy at the moment. Obviously the guy in 10th is the Porsche on the softs as it turned out, so I knew he was, although you can't see on the screen, but he's catching us about half second to a second a lap at the moment. He's about 3 or 4 seconds behind, so when he did finally catch up, which we'll see in a little while. So he was a little slow off the last corner, decided that was the time to go. So I could see this CW guy coming on to us, just see him in the background there. So yeah, we'll watch what happens here. It's always a bit nervous when you got someone right up your chuff coming down into turn 1, because you never know, especially in these lobbies, whether they're just going to try and dive bomb you. But he seemed to be wanting to just follow me as well, try and keep away from that Porsche. Yellow flag ahead, let's see what happened. Anything? Oh yeah, another spinner there. So here we go, another inherited position. I like inherited positions. You don't have to race for them, you can just pick them off one by one. I haven't raced the Porsche around here before. I knew it didn't have a lot of straight line speed compared to the Jags and stuff, so I knew he probably wasn't going to get me on the straight. But again, being on the softs, he was quite quick into the turn 1 there, and he gave me a bit of a nudge. But all fares in love and war, it was all right. I held him off for as long as I could without trying to compromise too much lap time. But I think he did get us in the end. See, we started to drop the Lexus, a bit of a twitch there. So we started to drop the Lexus, but I didn't really know that at the time, obviously with the Porsche being right behind, but that was quite good, because I think I let him go at the end of this lap in the end, and I just backed off down the start-finish straight. He had the run on us coming off the corner, but with the Porsche being a bit slow, he sort of dropped in behind me, but I think we get him. Gets us here, but knowing how quickly he caught, I thought, well, that's okay, because if he gets in front, hopefully he can drag me up to the other guys, not realising then he was on the softs till a lot later in the race, of course, when he pitted. But that's fine. He's nice clean pass, didn't cost us any time, so we just stuck with him for as long as we could. Mr. Strange got to the front in the end after our was going on, although as you can see he's on the soft tyres. At some point we're going to have to stop. I think by the end of by the time he pitted, he was about 10 seconds ahead of us on the road from first to wherever we were at the time. So when he pitted, I knew he was going to still come out behind us, but be on the same tyre as us, so it would probably been alright. This was a nice little moment with those two guys in front of us colliding. It was interesting then to see what happened after that. So those two guys dropped in behind us. Now I figured that they would probably have dirtier tyres, so I wasn't hoping a lunge. I wasn't expecting a lunge, and we didn't get one. But not as they were a little bit further up the road, I didn't know what sort of pace they would have. So I was watching carefully to see if they were quicker than me or not. So if they were fine, if they were quicker than me, I'd just let them go and then try and hang on to them again. But see how that works. Obviously the guy in the Porsche is still in front of us, but we know, well, we didn't know, but now we know he had to pit the Toyota a little bit further up the road, and then at least one more car to pit. So at the moment we're net 5th, as long as everything stays as it is. As you can see, the two Mercs pretty much have similar tyre wear to me, so grip levels are going to be pretty good for them as well. Certainly on a par with what I've got, so we weren't going to drop them too quick, that's for sure, knowing that they had similar top speed to me as well. Didn't really want to let them past if I could help it, but if they did, again, I was going to be trying to let them past in a non-time losing way. So the two Mercedes started battling. We had also dropped them a little bit off the last corner. So all of this is helping me out nicely at the moment when they started to battle. And we started to catch the Porsche, so I guess the Porsche's tyres were then starting to fade a little bit as well. Just back up to him, yeah, you can see his fronts are now starting to go. So he was pulling away quite quickly for a few laps there, but now he's sort of gap stabilised between me and him. So I thought, again, not realising he was on the softs, I thought I could hopefully start reeling him in again. And then we've got the Toyota on the hards, and everyone else on hards, so pretty much no wear at all. Mr. Strange still needs to pit, as I saw later on in the race he did, and Mr. CW Spec pitted. So actually we're net 4th, aren't we? With the two guys still in front of us to pit. And we've dropped the Mercs now a little bit. I think even one of the Mercs, for some reason, after that pass, he pitted, but he was on the hard tyre, so he obviously decided to try something different on the softs. And we saw just the Toyota had a little of a spin there. I think he must have just clipped the wall. Let's have a look what happened here. So he was running away on his own quite nicely. It's so easy to do here. So easy to do. Yeah, hit the wall, caught the barrier, round he goes. Been there myself. So now the race sort of stabilised somewhat here at the moment until, yeah, we're net 5th or net 3rd then, aren't we, I think, by the time these two guys pit, which I'm not sure when they're going to do it. I was catching the Porsche, which surprised me a little bit, so I figured he might be either on a different strategy by now, or he's just starting to lose his tyres, and there we go, he's just pitted with the soft, so he's going to come out 20 seconds further back down the road, so we were pretty safe. He wasn't going to be able to get back through all the traffic and catch us up again. These two battling away for 2nd and 3rd, which shortly, I think, turned into a battle for 1st. You see his tyres are going now. There you go, into the pits he goes. So this just out of interest, let's just see where he comes out by the time he pits. So he comes out, and they go behind the Lexus we were racing with a lot earlier, so that strategy doesn't work. You have to get a long way ahead for that to work for him. So he's 8th, Lexus 7th staying out, we were racing with him earlier. Guy in the Jag, he's now he was moving up through the field, but again, look, he's got softs on, so be a pit stop coming for him, not too distant future. Guy in the Toyota spun just a little while ago. The yellow Merc, so the black one pitted as well for some reason, and he stayed with me all the way through the race in the end, and as you can see we were both very similar pace, similar tyre wear, so I was watching him as much as I was watching the guys in front. As we're now in 3rd position. At this stage I was 4-ish seconds behind the leaders, and 5 laps to go. I was quite happy with 3rd, so if I caught them, great. I sort of made sure I was had the guy behind me sort of pinned, and 1st and 2nd stayed where they were. That was fine. I was quite happy to come away with the 3rd place with this race, known as a bit of an axe murdery fight. And was messing about with traction control and brake bias towards the end to try and keep the car as stable as I could. Didn't want any nasty surprises. It's half a second here on a hard tyre is big loss. That'll be the end of the P3. No luck getting on towards the last lap of the race. These two are battling away fairly hard, but not too bad. That didn't cost them too much time. I was only catching them half a second to a second a lap, but only got near enough to them really. to start catching them on at lap 20 of 25. So again, wasn't too worried. I thought, well, I'll be hanging around here in case any disasters happen for them at the last lap of the race, which we're coming up to now. I think this gap dropped down to about 3 seconds by this time. Third. Guy in the Merc was catching me a bit. I think we were 3 seconds ahead, and then by the end of the race, he was, well, by this lap, I think he was about a second and a half. So then my focus turned back to just making sure I kept it neat and tidy. Made sure he didn't get a sniff at us. Whatever happened at the front was fine. They can do what they want. That wasn't really my race to win today. I didn't really have the pace to be at the front, to be fair. Not until the end when the tyres had a bit of a tyre advantage to these two. Peugeot being a front-wheel drive car, you can see that trumps through the front tyres and doesn't do anything with the back. So, run to the line. Happy with the result. It much better predicted position than I thought I would get. Pleased with that result. Mr. Strange ended up having to pit. He came away 6th in the end, so that strategy doesn't work. Not sure where the Porsche ended up in the end. There we go. So when he pitted, he ended up 15th, so that I guess definitely doesn't work. Right. Look at the times. Right, thanks for watching. See you again on the next one.